Hi, welcome back to Doing the Math at Home. My name's Tracy Fox, and I'm an elementary teacher development specialist. This is HISD TV at Home. Today, boys and girls, we are going to model, create, and describe contextual division situations. So what's that mean? Have you ever had an opportunity where you have a brother or a sister and you have to share something with them? Or there's a piece of pizza that's left over and you need to share it with a brother or sister. Those are contextual situations in which we have to do division. So as we get started on our lesson today, there's a few things that I need you guys to grab. The first thing I need you to grab is something to write on, either a notebook or some loose leaf paper. And the last thing I need you to grab, I need you to grab something to write with. So either a marker, a pencil, a crayon will even work for this. And we'll need that throughout today's lesson. So let's jump right in to our Let's Review section of our lesson. So as we start to think about division, let's talk about some academic vocabulary that we're going to use during our lesson. And that would be equal sharing. Remember at the start, I started talking to you about having to share things with a brother or sister. I always like to get the bigger piece, and I always made sure that we had exactly the same amount if I couldn't get away with it. But division is all about equal shares. So whatever I get, you want to make sure that you can get. And it's the same thing with my own kids. So let's talk about equal shares. So when I think about equal shares, it means that the quantity that you get is exactly the same as what I get. And so let's look at a picture of this. So as you can see, I've got some beads here, or some buttons, and I've divided them into equal sized groups so that I can share them with other people. And so when we talk about this and define what equal shares is, we're really talking about equal sized parts of a group of objects or a whole. So in my example, the 16 buttons are the whole, and I have partitioned them or grouped them into equal sized parts. So now let's take a look at our example for today. So I have 6 pieces of candy. Let's look at our 6 pieces of candy. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So there's my 6 pieces of candy. And I want to share them between my 2 kids. So how do you think I can share them? So I want you to think about that. And let me introduce you to my 2 kids. My 2 kids, I've got a boy and a girl. So I've got Cooper and Sophia. And if I don't share them equally, one of them is going to get really upset with me. So have you thought about a way that I can share them equally? Well, I think that I can do like a fair share method where I make sure each and every one of them gets the same amount of candy. So let's see how that works. So remember, there's Cooper and there's Sophia. So 2 kids and 6 pieces of candy. So let's take a look at our first piece of candy. We'll go to Cooper. And so are they equal right now? Do they have the same amount? They don't. So the next piece of candy is going to go to Sophia. I know, I tried to hide a few pieces when I was growing up so that my brother wouldn't find it. So there's Cooper, and then 1 for Sophia. And then I'm going to repeat this process as we go through. So there's 1. So here's another 1 for Cooper. Let's get another piece for Sophia. And remember, I had 6 pieces of candy, and I want them to have an equal amount. So right now, Cooper's got 3, and Sophia has 2. Is that an equal amount? No, and I know that that's not all 6 pieces of candy because 3 and 2 is the same as 5. And I can't just take one because I'm the mom. I said I was going to share them. So let's give Sophia the last piece of candy. And now we can see that I've equally shared the candy between Cooper and Sophia. And how many pieces of candy did each of my kids get? Well, Cooper got 3 pieces of candy and Sophia got 3 pieces of candy. So this is how we use equal shares to divide up a large quantity of items. And so the last piece of this, as we get ready to transition into our Let's Learn, let's take a quick minute to review or to get you caught up on our 3 read strategy. So we're going to pull this up and we're going to talk about our 3 read strategy. Our 3 read strategy is a comprehension strategy. It helps us dig into a math story and really understand what's happening. Too many times, guys, I've seen it and I've done it myself. We try to focus in on the numbers and pull them out and add. Well, if you do that, you're not going to be able to recognize a division context. Okay, so we have 3 reads that we're going to do. The first read is, what is the story about? So I read my problem and I'm thinking about what's my story about. And then I need to write those responses down. The next time I read the problem, I've got to think about, what's the question? What do I need to try to find out? That's our second read. And our third read is, what do I know? What information is the math story providing me to help me figure out what I don't know? So that's the 3 read strategy, and that's the strategy and the vocabulary that we're going to use as we move into our Let's Learn section. Okay, boys and girls, we're going to get into our Let's Learn section. And as we do that, remember, we're going to model, create, and describe contextual division scenarios. So we have our word problem here, and we're going to use our 3 read strategy to help us. So remember, our first read, what I want us to do is I want us to start thinking about, what is this story about? So here we go. We're going to go for our first read. Casey has 16 beads to make necklaces. He will use the same number of beads in each of 4 necklaces. How many beads will Casey use in each necklace? So who and what is the story about? When we read this, I know that my main character of my math story today is Casey. And Casey has some beads, and he wants to know how many of those beads he'll be able to put on each of 4 necklaces. So what is our story about? Casey, beads, and necklaces. So we're going to read it a second time with a focus on, what am I trying to find out? Casey has 16 beads to make necklaces. He will use the same number of beads in each of 4 necklaces. How many beads will Casey use in each necklace? So if he's building these necklaces and he's got all these beads, then we know that what we're trying to find out, and by looking at the question, is how many beads will Casey need to put on each necklace so that there's an equal share of beads. And then the last question that we're going to look at is, what do I know? So let's read it a third time. Casey has 16 beads to make necklaces. He will use the same number of beads in each of 4 necklaces. How many beads will Casey use in each necklace? So what do we know? We know that he has a total of 16 beads and he has 4 necklaces. So this is the information that we know. It's really important here that we don't just focus on the numbers. If I just focused on 16 and 4, I might have the misconception that I'm supposed to add those and come up with 20, which is not what's happening. We know that Casey has a collection of beads and he needs to equally share those beads so that every necklace gets the same quantity. That is our contextual division problem. So let's break this down a little bit further and think about what this might look like. So when I read the first sentence that said that Casey has 16 beads, we know that it looks like this. These beads represent the 16 beads that Casey has to make necklaces. My next sentence tells me he's going to use the same number of beads. So the same number of beads, he's going to use an equal number of beads on 4 necklaces. So I'm going to represent my 4 necklaces by using this grouping system so that I can see these. And what do we need to do? Well, I know that I'm going to share these, equally group them. So here's my 4 necklaces. Here's my 16 beads. Now I need to share them equally. So I'm 16 of them. So I'm just going to go ahead and start marking. And I want you to do this at home. Go ahead and draw this. Draw your 4 necklaces. And then let's move our beads. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know I've used the first 4 beads. Am I done sharing equally all of the beads? No, I've only used 4. I still have more to go. So I'm going to use another 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I need to mark off the 4 I used from the top. So now I know so far that I've used 2, 4, 6, 8 beads. I'm not done yet because Casey has a total of 16. So I'm going to equally share 4 more beads, and I'm going to mark those off. So I've used 4. So now each necklace has 3 beads, but I still see that I have beads left. I need to make sure that I have enough beads so that each one of these necklaces can get another bead. So how many beads do I have left? 1, 2, 3, 4. So now I know that I can equally share those on the 4. So how many beads are on the first necklace? There are 4. How many on the second necklace? 4. How many on the third necklace? 4. And on the fourth necklace, 4. So I can see that each of these necklaces is going to have 4 beads on them. So now let's take it one step further and let's describe what we just did. We know that Casey had 16 beads that were shared equally among how many groups? And our groups here would be our necklaces. Okay? So we know that 16 beads shared equally among 4 groups means there are how many beads in each group. If we look at our picture or our model, we're going to be able to see that there are 4 beads in each group. So now we can answer our question using a complete sentence. How many beads will Casey use in each necklace? Casey will use 4 beads in each necklace. Boys and girls, we have had the opportunity to review some academic vocabulary around equal shares. We've actually discussed what it means to share, and we used a model of me sharing candy with my 2 kids. And now we were able to apply the information about how we equally share to our number story from the day using our 3-read strategy. As we get ready to transition into your practice problems, please ask an adult or somebody at home to grab a phone or a camera so that you can take a picture of your practice problem for today. Represent the following math story using objects. Then draw a model and answer the question. Complete the sentence frame. Remember to use the 3-read strategy to understand the story. Problem. A baker placed 20 cookies into packs. She placed the same number of cookies into each of 5 packs. How many cookies did the baker place in each pack? Sentence frame. Blank shared equally among blank means there are blank. Let's take a look at our challenge problem. Directions. Represent the following math story using objects. Then draw a model and answer the question. Remember to use the 3-read strategy to understand the story. Problem. A craft store is organizing 28 poster boards into boxes. The store placed 7 poster boards in each box. How many boxes did the craft store use to organize all the poster boards? Boys and girls, thank you for joining me today as we reviewed our understanding of contextual division math stories. If you should have questions about today's lesson, please feel free to reach out to your teacher. And parents, if you would like additional resources, please visit our Houston ISD at Home website. My name is Tracy Fox, and I'm wishing you an amazing math day.